I'm going to open the valve slowly so I don't cause suction. If you open it too quickly, you can compact the mash down at the bottom of your tun. So just going to open it up pretty slowly here. This may be a good flow rate. Nice color to it. These first runnings are the highest gravity runnings, so they may actually be darker than the final product. You can see it's almost chalky. It's so thick with husk material and grain, protein. And I want to gently pour this on top so you don't cause any channeling, like disturbing the grain bed. The idea being to equalize the amount poured on top and the amount taken out of the bottom. And this is repeated for maybe 5 or 10 minutes until the wort clarifies nicely. You'll see no more husk material in there. You get a nice clear wort. So I'll catch you when we start collecting. It's been about 10 minutes recirculating here. As you can see, the wort is a whole lot more clear than it used to be. There's still some husk floating in there, but I can strain that out on my way to the kettle. Now all I'm going to do is transfer the hose over to my bucket. And the bucket is there simply because I don't have a good way of measuring the total volume of my collection. And the bucket has graduations on it, so I will talk to you in a minute about that. So here's the full setup. I have the hot liquor tank up top. That's pouring hot water on top of the mash tun as I drain out of the bottom into the bucket. The idea being to equalize the rates of flow. You gotta stand watch the whole time while you tweak the valves, slow this one down, speed that one up, etc. It's probably the most labor-intensive part of brewing. And my rate should be about a gallon every 5 minutes. And to collect 13.5 gallons for this brew, that's going to take me over an hour. So it is a little bit labor-intensive, but that's what it's all about. Alright, we have a full boil here. Just have it on a simmer until the hop break happens. I already added the bittering hops, and that is a very dangerous time when you add the hops. You want to make sure you have your hand on the gas ready to turn it off, turn it down. If you're on a stovetop, you may even need to take the pot off the stove to prevent a boil over. I had actually added some firm cap, which is a silicone-based foaming inhibitor, which is great stuff if you can get your hands on some. It's pretty cheap, and you just put 1 to 2 drops per gallon in your boil, and keeps the foaming down. In this case, since I'm doing a big IPA, I actually collected I was going for 13.5 gallons. I wound up with 14 gallons, so I may have to boil a little bit longer to get the volume I want. But because I'm adding so many hops, I think almost 12 ounces of hops in this 10-gallon batch, I'm going to wind up with a lot of true gloss, and so therefore I wanted to make sure I got my volumes correct. Maybe I undershoot my gravity a little bit, but that's not a big issue for me. If it's 5.5% versus 6%. So in the background there, you can see my 2 carboys. I just put a splash of Star Sand in the bottom of each one, and I fill them up with water until the foam hits the top, and then let it settle down. Keep filling it up over the brew day, and that's a technique I learned from my buddy Jeff, and I haven't had any problems. I definitely recommend glass fermenters. I have used plastic for a long time, and have had off flavors for a long time, and I'm pretty sure that it's due to using those plastic fermenters and having a infection lurking inside the buckets. I recently switched over to all glass, and I'm hoping that will solve my problem. My 2 guesses were infection and chlorine in the brewing water, and I eliminated the chlorine, and the problem still persisted, so it seems to point towards infection. Anyway, doing probably a 60, actually might push it to like a 70-minute boil, just to get down to the volume that I'm looking, or get up to the gravity I'm looking for. But pretty much a waiting game at this point. I've cleaned up all of the mash tun and hot liquor tank, and I'll just start rounding up equipment. I'll talk to you in a minute.